This is a 7-minute walkthrough of Sunny Law, the legal edition of Sunny AIOs. You will see matter intake running with an automatic conflict check, multi-agent orchestration across a live workflow, the drafting agent producing first-pass correspondence, compliance monitoring across all active matters, and the action log that makes every AI step auditable under Law Society and ASCR compliance requirements. All processing runs on AWS Sydney and Google Cloud Sydney. Client data does not leave Australian infrastructure. No slide decks, no marketing, just the product running.
Here is exactly what we're covering: the AI governance imperative, the risks of unsecured AI, and then we're jumping straight into the Sunny Law edition to see automated matter intake and compliant agentic workflows in action.
Section 1. The AI Governance Imperative. As a managing partner, you are under intense pressure from two opposing sides. You've got vendors pitching incredible productivity gains on one hand, and the Law Society's guidance telling you to hit the brakes on the other. What happens? We often see a rush toward adoption that completely skips the foundational work needed to actually make the system secure and viable under your professional conduct obligations. You have to ask yourself, where does your firm's AI data actually go? When a solicitor pastes a client brief or a contract clause into a public, off-the-shelf AI interface, that information is usually routed through offshore infrastructure. It might be logged overseas or, even worse, used to train future models. For a firm operating under the Privacy Act, that is a live compliance exposure you just can't afford.
Section 2. The risks of unsecured AI.
Unsecured AI, or shadow AI, creates risks that quietly compound across three main fronts. First, data exposure. Passing client data through public tools flat-out breaches confidentiality. Second, compliance drift. Getting AI-generated advice or summaries that lack proper audit trails and documented human accountability. And third, operational fragility. You end up with a patchwork of individual tools adopted team by team that is literally impossible to govern or audit consistently.
There's a massive transition here that many firms completely miss. AI experimentation is loose, informal, and permissioned by default. But operational AI, embedding these tools into your live legal workflows and client-facing processes, requires a fundamentally different accountability context. You simply cannot carry those informal assumptions into a regulated, auditable environment where strict limitation periods and court filing requirements dictate your timeline.
Section 3. Enter Sunny Law Edition.
This brings us to the governed alternative. Sunny AI is an agentic AI operating system designed specifically for Australian professional services. Think of it as an integrated brain that's been trained on your firm's actual workflows. It connects your Outlook emails, your practice management CRM, and your SharePoint documents into one single centralized auditable place.
Structurally, this system maps directly to your ASCR requirements. All processing runs exclusively on AWS Sydney and Google Cloud Sydney, so your client data never leaves Australian infrastructure. More than that, every single action is logged with the timestamp, the user, the source data, and the system's reasoning to ensure absolute auditability.
Like I said at the start, no slide decks, no marketing, just the product running. Let's transition right into the practical execution.
Section 4. Automated Matter Intake. Let's walk through exactly what happens when a new client inquiry arrives, in this case, via email. The intake agent receives the email, structures the client and matter information into the case file, and simultaneously runs a conflict check against your full matter database. If a conflict is detected, the system flags it for the principal before the file is even created. If there's no conflict, the case file is opened, the matter type is identified, and the document checklist for that matter type is automatically generated. The practice manager does not touch the keyboard during this entire sequence.
To put real numbers to that workflow, in a firm processing 15 new matters a week, this exact sequence replaces approximately 4 hours of paralegal time.
Section 5. Compliant Agentic Workflows.
Now we move from intake to workflow orchestration. What you have here is the supervisor agent coordinating 3 specialist agents simultaneously on the exact same matter. There's the drafting agent preparing the client care letter, the compliance agent checking the relevant limitation period, and the communication agent preparing the initial client update. The supervisor agent manages the sequencing. It ensures that the drafting agent actually waits for the compliance check on the limitation periods to complete before finalizing the letter.
And how does it know what to check? Sunny ships with a standard legislation pack tailored to your practice. It actively monitors the Family Law Act, Corporations Act, the Privacy Act, state property law, the PPSR, and daily bulletins from ASIC and the ACC.
The operational value of this is just massive. Every regulatory update relevant to your firm is read, summarized, and automatically maps to your active matters by 9 a.m. daily. Your team never gets caught out by a sudden policy shift because the system has already cross-referenced that change against your open files before your first coffee.
Let's look at what this means for on-demand matter intelligence. Instead of a senior associate spending 20 minutes digging through fragmented Outlook threads and SharePoint folders to reconstruct context, they simply ask the system, "Where are we on the Henderson matter?" The result is one synthesized paragraph of the current status and one suggested next action, drawn from across your entire tech stack.
As a managing partner, you have to ask yourself, are you ready to move your firm away from fragmented shadow AI, where your staff rely on their own discretion using off-the-shelf tools, and move toward a structurally governed, auditable system that actually aligns with your regulatory obligations?
If you are, it's time to book a Sunny Law demo at sunburntai.com.au/sunny-agentic-AI-operating system. We'll connect the system to a sandbox of your data and show you exactly what your team would see on day one. AI isn't going anywhere. The only question is whether your firm is going to govern it or let it govern you.